awesome.
Hey everyone, we are live. It is SVT time. Welcome. It's Tuesday, April 8th. I had to look at the date. It is episode 82. I'm getting all my facts straight today.
Wow.
Of course, it's Dom and I here hosting another episode of SVT time. And we have the amazing, talented Hayley Jane Batt joining us today. Hayley, I know I say this a lot, but this has been a long time coming. I know we've talked in the past, and you're a veteran of SVT time too. You have joined us in the past on was it International Women's Day that you had joined us?
Yeah, maybe
that was
it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years ago. So, but thank you so much for doing this. I know you're really busy and we had to kind of reschedule a few things around. So I'm so glad we're able to sit down and chat.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
I always say this is the conversation that we always want to have at NAMM.
Right.
But you never can because you're always looking over your shoulder or somebody's looking over your shoulder and there's just too many distractions. So yeah. So how you been?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Since I saw you guys a couple months ago.
Yep.
Sort of, I don't know, same.
Did you survive NAMM okay? Get out of it with NAMM facts, nothing?
I did one day and I hung with you guys most of the day. And then it was fun. Like normally I find it quite overwhelming, but I hadn't been for a while and it was just nice to see everyone.
Yeah.
But I can only do one day. I feel quite old these days and I need to recharge and it was great. Yeah.
You generally, for visiting, I mean, one day is like done and done sort of thing. So,
I do feel like post pandemic, things are more introverted these days in terms of like just we're not used to like the social interaction we used to have, especially on a mass scale like that at NAMM. So
yeah,
get drained a little bit, I think.
I do like one or two things a day now.
Yeah.
And then I'm
which might be, I think that's a good thing ultimately.
Yeah, even if they're very that's it.
Usually for me, it's just waking up and getting a coffee. If I can achieve that, my day's complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, are you a coffee drinker or a tea drinker?
I was going to make a cup of tea for tea time today, but I'm a coffee drinker.
Okay. Well,
we are. That's fair.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, I'm primarily a coffee drinker. I gotta say, I do make a really good proper pot of kettle or pot of tea or kettle of tea.
Very pleased to hear that.
I preheat the pot and steep it properly. Oh yeah, I go all at the koozie.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
I need to learn from you.
Dino puts the England in New England.
Yeah, wow.
I think I put the Greek in New England more than I put the England in, but so Hayley, you're joining us from LA today, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Dom,
Dino, we don't have any palm trees. I don't see snow. Do you see snow today?
It was snowing today.
Oh my goodness.
It was snowing today. I woke up and stepped outside and it was snowing. April 8th in New England. So anyways, but we're not here to talk about the weather.
I know you were kind of debating on what 2025 was going to look like when we were talking about NAMM, and then I saw a bunch of photos of you playing live. So it's good. Tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah, I've been doing. I sort of have a reasonably open year, and a lot of like one-off gigs have come through that have been really wonderful. I played with this girl called Victoria Canal, which was great, and I'm now doing some work with a girl called Jade Bird, who's a British artist. Really just fantastic songwriters and getting back to singing as well as playing. And then I'm going to be back with Conan Gray at some point in the year.
Amazing.
A nice mix of everything, really. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, I say everything, I mean like I feel like I've been playing with like one band for quite a while, and it's nice to fill the time up with other things in town. I don't
Yeah.
do a lot of in-town stuff anymore, and so that's been really lovely.
It's good to hear that they're happening in town, because that wasn't a thing after COVID. So I shows happening, and there's still a lot of fire relief shows, which I love too.
Yeah,
I'm happy that they're still circulating around.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of the things I love about LA is the music scene. Like, you can go out and watch a gig, and it's probably going to be really good. And, it's awesome. Yeah.
Do you find yourself, especially working with a number of different artists, you know, the subject always comes up about scheduling conflicts and, you know, I can't do this gig because I'm tied up on that night or this particular tour. Do you still find, like, how do you manage that?
Great question, because I feel like that I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because it's so hard. And you know, to get quite honest immediately, I really struggle with decision fatigue. And I'm like, the weighing up of, what if you take that, what's going to happen there, and which sliding doors moment is your life going to go down. But it never gets easier, and it's really hard to make it work sometimes. And I think it would be so lovely to think that you can, like, sub out gigs here and there, and you keep this gig and then make it all work. But it just doesn't usually happen that way. So it is just you kind of have to just hope that it works out.
Yeah.
Or make really hard calls, and then accept that decision, really.
Yeah.
It's when it does work out, it feels so like cosmic.
Sure.
But like, even this year I have clashes that, like, nothing is there for a month, and then I've got a clash on, like, this just the same exact day. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to play on that one day for some reason.
It was, and the reason why I bring this up is there's a Facebook group, and I won't say what the group is, but it's regarding, you know, it's about bands, cover bands and working bands. And one of this band leader came on and said, you know, we've got so many shows per year, and our bass player is working with a bunch of other bands, and I can't book more shows because he's working with other band. So the inevitability of the question came up, like, what should I do with this one bass player? And everybody kind of jumped in and said, you know, obvious, you know, and the example was Nathan East, you know, where it was like, you know, look at Nathan, or look at any working professional bassist that works between different artists, and how they work with different artists. You know, obviously, you know, we want to work with who we want to work with, but, you know, as far as a commitment, it's always about whose schedule is open, when am I available. You know, obviously, is this a good move for me as a side person to do this gig? And a lot of people took this bassist's side of the equation, and, you know, and the band leader was like, well, I pay him X amount of dollars, and I'm offering this many gigs, and they're like, yeah, but you got to understand it from a side person's point of view. Like, you know, 50 gigs a year is a lot of work, but it's not 350 gigs a year. So there's 300 other dates that person needs to fill in to keep working, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard to strike a balance of being loyal to the people that you want to stay loyal to, and, like, making a living.
Yes.
And, you know, doing stuff that's good for, like, your soul, and that's not. And it's hard, because one show for this artist might be the biggest show of their life, but you can't turn down 2 months of work with someone else just to do that. But that's like a luxury, like the luxury of being able to pick and choose to that degree is rare.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
And like you said, you know, at some point sometimes you are forced to make a very difficult choice or make a difficult decision. And, you know, hopefully I think as musicians and side players, we never want to let anybody down.
No, not at
You
all.
know,
I think I'm having more conversations with, you know, say if like I need a sub for a gig or something.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to have that conversation between you guys where you know, like, well, that's your gig and I'm just coming in and I'm going to help you out. And
Yeah.
it would be so nice if that was more accepted, really.
Yeah.
That would sort of, because life happens as well, and I
Yeah.
think we're becoming more okay with that, like people you know, getting married or having babies, or there's a death or something and you need to leave a tour. I think it's just important to have like a system in place that means that you're not scared about losing your job.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that happens, I think people are coming around to that a lot more.
I do think that's happening more and more. And I had the pleasure of being a sub for somebody who was on an arena tour, and I was very, very impressed by the camp that I was coming into, where they didn't require a rehearsal with me at all. They trusted me. They trusted the guy who recommended me through, where it's like, he's going to show up, he's going to be prepared, which was so nice on me too, because I was hoping like, okay, these are only 2 shows. It's only a half-hour set for the openers. But it's like, I don't want to go commit like a whole week of rehearsals or something too, just for that to like go in for 2 shows or whatever. So it's kind of like a full circle, like the party who's subbing, the party who's, you know, recommending the sub, and like it's almost like when you get hired for a gig, there should always be like a little forum of like, all right, who's your backup, and like that's an accepted thing. Do they want to rehearse or not, or what, you know?
Yeah.
I have a handful of people like that already that I'm so grateful for, and I can go, okay, well, I can't do it, but you know, this person can come in and you won't notice the difference. And
Yeah.
you know, it's you need those people for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you hearing it?
Yeah. Who's got it sounds
So
like.
I think it might be. Do you have a oscillating fan or something? It sounds like, because it's temporary. Yeah. I'm just curious.
I hear that noise.
Here, let me mute mine, see if it's mine. It's me. Interesting.
It's you.
Wow.
Dom.
Do you?
Wow. I'm an oscillating fan. I mean, it's off.
But now it just stopped. As soon as you muted it, it stopped.
It's very odd.
Sorry
about that.
We'll just keep on telling you to mute. See what happens when you get rid of all your outboard gear?
Yeah. Right.
Oh man. But yeah, so anyways, that was, you know, when you said how, and I know you've worked with a number of high profile artists and you keep busy that way too. So, you know, it is a question that always comes up, and it's like, I know like on the Broadway scene, there's always an understudy, or, you know, there's always somebody, you know, granted, Broadway, you're doing sometimes 6-7 shows a week. And, you know, you need to have somebody fill in, but it's just, I think it's a really good, I think it's something that we all need to address. And I don't think it's really discussed or talked about openly that often. You know, it's like, well, we'll deal with it when the time comes, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, so can we talk a little bit about your background?
Yes.
So originally born and raised in England.
Yes.
Okay. Did you come from a musical family?
I did. I sort of didn't have much of a chance in that sense of doing it. My dad is a songwriter and a piano player. And my brother is also a musician. He's a great producer and songwriter and guitar player. So that's sort of how I started playing music. Sorry, there's a noise in the background.
Oh no, that's all right.
So they would like jam at home, and it was that classic story of like, can you pick up a bass and jam along with us? My brother had a band, and again, it was, you know, they're literally rehearsing in the living room, and there's no bass player, and he's like, my sister's had one bass lesson, and And that was it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's sort of, it wasn't ever a weird thing to be a musician, having,
Yeah.
I think my dad was probably more like, are you sure you want to do this? Like,
Yeah.
as a,
Interesting.
so yeah, just thought it
Yeah.
was you did. That's
And
what.
that was it. You were hooked from the start.
Yeah, well, hooked from the start slash, I feel like I started playing bass quite late at 14.
Okay.
And so I was like a teenager when I realized that playing in bands was sort of the best thing ever. We had this band with my brother and we were like best friends, and that was our whole
Nice.
world. And no one else understood like the bond that we had and the music we were going to make. It was very emo and dramatic, and I think that was the feeling I was hooked on.
Okay.
And that's when I always wanted to be a touring musician. That was sort of quite a secret dream of mine that I thought that's
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, from that point, at 14 years old, you gigged around England locally. What was the catalyst that and correct me if I'm wrong, but from there you went to Boston to go to Berklee College of Music?
Yes, I
Okay.
did. The catalyst was I was always playing music at school, and I either wanted to go to art school or music college.
Mm-hmm.
And very honestly, I didn't want to do an art portfolio because that was going to take 6 months.
Yep.
And I thought, well, I'm playing a lot more music and I can do an audition and just see what happens. Yeah. So I ended up going to a music college in London for a year.
Okay.
And during that time, I had done a summer program at Berklee, and they were having auditions. And so I just went to sort of practice an audition. Okay. I never thought it would be somewhere I would go.
Yeah.
And then I got in, and then I went a year later at 19. So it kind of, snowballed.
Wow.
I never had this sort of big, I'm going to move to America thing. It was just, I wanted to go to that school. And so
Did you have plans on, after graduating from Berklee or when you were done with Berklee, to move back to the UK, or did things just progress and 15 years later you're still, you're working and gigging in the States?
Blacked out, and here I am. Yes. So I did actually move back for a year. I did Boston for 3 years. And then it's very uncool that I finished Berklee. You should never do that. Don't tell anyone. And then I went to New York for a year. And I was interning as somebody that is in a band that I shall not name. I was their personal assistant for a few months, interning at this company. And I was not enjoying my life doing that. And I thought, hang on a second, I think I want to do, I want to do what you do. I don't want to organize your life. I want to be doing that. So I answered like every Craigslist ad possible that had the word bass in it, and ended up meeting this lovely band called the Freelance Whales, who are a little indie folk band in New York. And I played with them for about a year, and they helped me get my next visa. And that sort of snowballed into the next thing. But when I was waiting for that visa, I moved back to London for a year and thought, I'll just live in London because America seems like quite a tough place to be. But then I came to LA for a week to visit some friends, and they all were like, I think that you get work if you stayed here, you should give it a chance. So I I extended my flight for a month, and I said, okay, if I get on a tour in a month, then I'll stay, and if I don't, I'll go back to London.
Wow.
And it was literally like the last 5 days of that month.
Wow.
It was like I had, like $200 in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Dream. It was very
Yeah.
cliche, and a friend of mine I've been to college with was the manager of this girl called Emily Kinney, who's a wonderful songwriter and actress, and she was leaving for tour in a week, and her bass player had moved on.
Wow.
I was just 24. I had like, it was the perfect tour experience. I had no apartment, I had no like relationship, no life really, just wanted to go
Perfect.
and play music. That was it.
That is so cool. That
That tour ended in LA, and then that was 10 years ago in March.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. You just made it sound so easy.
I was gonna say there are people that have been in LA for a decade that have been 10 years. I mean, 10 years. You're like, I'm gonna give it a month.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was
But I say that jokingly, you made it, but I mean, obviously, opportunity, when opportunity knocks, that's the door opening.
yes.
You got to have the talent and the hang and the personality to close that door behind you. And you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I had plenty of opportunities in LA that didn't pan out. And I attribute that to, I either didn't fit the part, or maybe I wasn't the player that they were looking for at that personal time. It could have been, me walking in thinking I've got the best gear. It could have been a number of different things, So
it's always the smallest thing that it's a casting. It's
I was denied a gig because I was told I was too Greek.
Wow.
No.
I kid you not. I was on an audition in LA. I said, man, we love your playing, we love your look, but you're just a little too Greek for us.
What?
Wow.
I don't know if they were just like being nice, but yeah, I was like,
at least they told you that. Normally it's just like, we're going in a different direction.
Yeah.
I could not go home and tell my dad, like, I get turned down for a gig because I'm too Greek, pops. That was the proudest moment in his life.
Yeah, right. It's funny. We did it.
He did it. But seriously, I mean, like, getting back to you, make it sound, it's not that easy. It really isn't.
That happened to be the right thing at the right time, like anything else. But the amount of times I've found myself in a room that I just thought it was hilarious that I didn't fit.
Yeah.
You just have to sort of
plus there's
and I've been turned down for gigs for silly reasons, or been not the right player. Like, it's so sliding doors, and it is when the opportunity comes, you have to hope that you're ready in more ways than one. And and
it, a lot of people will say too, anybody that packs up their life, leaves their family behind to go pursue a career or a dream, in your case, literally on the other side of the globe, from UK to LA, or moving from a hometown to LA or Nashville or New York or what, a lot, like when I came back from LA and moved back into Boston, I had a lot of local musician friends that were like, well, how'd you do this? And how'd you do that? And I was like, I rolled the dice.
Yeah.
I packed up my life. I left my family. I left my girlfriend. I literally moved to LA in a U-Haul van with a bunch of basses and a couple of amplifiers. And I took a chance on life. I put my life on the line to get to where I am right now. And that's, Tom, I'm going to quote Tom Brady. You'll love this, Tom. The great quarterback Tom Brady was quoted as saying, "Great," I'm going to misquote it, but it was basically under the premise of, greatness happens when you're willing to do things and work hard at things that other people aren't willing to put the time into.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said, but and it's very true. Like you put your life on the line. You put your life out there. So yeah, it's not that easy.
No, I had a in the moving to LA moment, when I was back in London, I had been a nanny for this lovely family. And so me coming to LA for a week was like in the middle of their half term or something. And they have, 3-year-old. And I'd been with them for about 6 months. And I just sort of thought, this is maybe what I do now. And I remember calling the mum of the family, like so terrified, going, I think I need to stay here and like give this a go. And I don't want to, if you guys need me to come back, that's fine. And she was so kind. She just said, look, she said, you need to make calculated risks. Calculated risks in your life.
Yeah.
And it feels like one of those moments.
Wow.
And if you come back and you need a job, you'll always have one here. But like this feels like you got to at least try this out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a similar.
That's so cool.
It was perhaps a defining moment.
Yeah, right. I gotta put this on the screen.
Yeah,
for you, Arrow Top.
Oh, thank you.
And we talked earlier. That is a vintage Spice Girls show. That is an original.
The 90s, yeah.
Do you have a favorite Spice Girl?
I was always Baby Spice because I had blonde hair as a kid. So by default.
Got it.
That was, yeah.
What Spice Girl were you, Dom? No, I mean, which Spice?
I was gonna say, who was I, or who?
Like
what about Spice Girls? There's just the variety is amazing. I'll leave it at that.
My daughters were big into Spice Girls. Let's just put it that way.
I honestly loved the Spice Girls growing up.
I never saw them live. It was one of my biggest disappointments.
Yeah.
Life.
Oh,
but they might. The dream might not be over.
Really?
I heard they might be doing a little reunion something. I don't
know. Is that a gig you would be up for?
Oh, hell yeah! Think about that for a second.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Be a Spice Girl though. Someone else can play bass.
You want to be the Spice Girl? Okay. Yeah, that would be an opportunity of a lifetime, I would think.
Yeah, music's fun. They're fun. There'd be so much nostalgia. It'd be great.
Right. How long? I mean, what are we looking at? Spice Girls was 20 years ago.
I'm gonna guess 96, 97, something like that.
Wow.
That's more than 20 years ago.
Yeah. 30 years ago, almost. Wow.
Next question.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Now, so
I had a question. Do you ever have? We're talking about calculated risks, and also the. I was going to make the point of like in terms of the decision fatigue.
Yes.
One thing that kind of always comforted me in being the same way is that in terms of taking a risk, it was almost easier to look at like would I regret more not doing like in terms of decision fatigue and overanalyzing everything. Am I going to sit in bed one night and just be like, oh my gosh, I did, like, what if, like, I can't, that's the ultimate feeling I can't live with. So it's like, that allows me to just kind of be reckless in other ways or be, have calculated risks. But I was curious if there's ever like a gig or a tour that you didn't get and you don't have to name who it is, but like a situation where there was something like that you were like, I hope so. And then you didn't. And you're like, thank God I didn't.
Oh, interesting. I mean, it would, I'm enjoying my life. So I feel like you can always find that, I can now see the reason why I didn't do that. And it's because this other thing has happened and this is now how it's gone. So, have I ever thought, thank God I didn't get that? I don't know.
That's a tough question.
You feel like you should be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some decisions recently that have been really confusing. And I've really tried to sort of live the life that goes this way and live and yeah, I do. Wow, that's a difficult question. I don't know. Someone
Yeah.
did say to me recently that they were like, when you make a decision, yes or no, the parallel universe, the life that would have been that way, it immediately disintegrates. So you just have to like let it
Like,
go.
it doesn't exist. Yeah. So
And,
that's great.
and they were like, coming with me might have mean you've got hit by a bus. And so I thought, that's easier to deal with. So
Yeah.
It's just always difficult. I don't know.
And we've come to learn that one of my philosophies is there's no wrong decisions.
Yes. I'm trying to learn that.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it comes down to like, even when my wife and I are trying to decide what restaurant we're going to, and I'm very much like Dom, where it's like, well, I don't know. Am I going to get a bad meal? Like, I overanalyze things.
Yeah.
And lately it's been, it doesn't matter which restaurant we go to. Just the fact that we're going to a restaurant, spending time together, we're going to get a good meal, and there's no wrong decision here.
Yeah. Totally.
So yeah.
Also, sometimes if a decision is so difficult that you're going back and forth, and that in itself is reason, like that might mean it is not the right thing for right now or something.
Correct. Yeah.
There is, then things can feel right or wrong for a good reason, and it's important to like listen to that as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
When you were growing up, sorry.
No, go ahead, Don. Good.
When you were growing up, and it was kind of like, we don't have a bassist, like play bass. Was there a moment where, especially having like a musical family, where you started like taking the bass on as your identity and being like, oh, I actually like love this instrument? Or was it kind of always just like, I want to play music, so this is like my way to kind of get in there?
Great question. I think I gravitated to the bass because there was some kind of natural ability there. Like it felt very comfortable. I really loved it. I liked not being at the front, but I could still be very integral. I think I always held on to enjoying and having like good like feel and time, and it was a solid thing that I could do and like be good at. So I loved whether or not I definitely fell into the bass. But definitely, it's definitely part of my identity now for sure. I mean, that in itself is a whole other conversation. Like, during the pandemic, suddenly not being a bass player, going, wait, who am I without doing what I do? Me now, and it's not just I don't know that if I'm playing music, I want to be playing bass or writing songs. That's the two. I have no interest in.
I think a lot of songwriters and producers were born from the pandemic in that respect. Like, it was just one of those things that I am a bass player, but nobody's hiring bass players right now. So I kind of have to do my own thing.
Yeah, totally.
Tell me a little bit about the BØRNS gig.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Well, okay. So getting, your duty as a bass player, but you were also playing keys on that gig as well, correct?
I was playing synth bass.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I was playing keys,
but synth bass,
piano parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured that's kind of where I was going. But how how important is that for bass players today, especially people that want to do those types of gig? Like,
Yeah.
Should we have a small synth keyboard in our arsenal for stuff like that?
Yes, it's kind of no question.
Okay.
These days, it's what that is. I think is gig dependent. On the BØRNS gig, I was using a sub 37, and on my gig with Love Fame Tragedy, that's sort of when I was like, now you've got to learn synth bass.
Yeah.
That's what I would use. But now, gig to gig, a lot of people it's like MIDI controllers, it's samples, it's main stage, it's Ableton. Like, there's so much that we all should know.
Mhm.
I think you've got to pick what works for you and what you know. But yes, it's so important.
Yeah.
Because everything is synth bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only reason I only started playing 5-string recently for pop gigs where, you know, producers made all the synth sounds and they go, oh fuck, we need to play this live.
Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean to say the word live.
It's all good.
Anyway, yes, it's important.
Yeah. What's that, Tom?
No censorship on our show.
No, there's absolutely no censorship here. No, because again, that's a discussion that happens amongst bass players of, well, you know, I mean, I've got some really good synth pedals that I can play, but it doesn't. And obviously on a keyboard bass, you are playing the bass line differently than you would on an electric.
I mean, that's a good point. That I feel that a lot of synth parts can definitely, they don't need to be on synth when you're putting a live show together. There are a lot that so many times they go, oh, just play electric on this.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the parts. The BØRNS parts, for example, though, those synth parts were very much synth robotic stuff, and that was it really like I had to really like shed those because it was just new. And someone's paying you to be a robot and you've got to
Did they ask you to play keys, or did you just know going into the gig these were done on a key and I really should, to be authentic, do this on a keyboard? Yeah.
It just is. It's like, well, parts and these, and you go, okay.
Yeah.
Just like, how am I playing this song best?
Right.
And I'd always played piano. Like, I started on piano, so it wasn't completely foreign to me.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Now, would you consider that, was that your like kind of your big breakout into like stadium tours and big concert tours?
Yeah, I think so. That was 2017. That was my first. That was like my first tour bus. It felt like the first sort of substantial, like,
yeah, I'm here.
I'm doing it now. I loved that band so much, and it was a real the music fantastic, but also as a unit of people, it was a real like band of brothers. It was feeling.
Yeah. And how long did that tour go for, Hayley?
We were on and off for 3 years. I was with them, I think, up until I think 2000. Oh, maybe it wasn't that long. Maybe it was at 2019. The end of 2019 was our last show together.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like
I mean,
my life.
It's such a, it's like, it's such an amazing dynamic too, because you spend the better part of every waking moment of your life with certain individuals for, X amount of time, a year, 2 years, 3 years. off and on. But then all of a sudden the tour's over, and it's like, okay, what do we do now? Like when you see it when a movie wraps, like at the end of a movie wrap, where everybody's like, we just made this amazing thing, did this amazing thing, and okay, I'll see you when I see you, sort of thing. So, I would imagine it's a very difficult transition. I used to call it re-entry, like coming home from a tour.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing for lack, I'm a rock star during the week. And then on the weekends, I'm taking the kids to softball and mowing the lawn and, doing all my honey-do lists sort of things.
Yeah.
We used to call it re-entry. And
really weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
That's why musicians and artists were crazy.
Yeah.
That's why we need that extra moment at the coffee shop line. We're just like, what is life? Oh, yeah.
I make a decision for myself.
Yeah.
I had to get up before 10 a.m. today. What is going on?
Right.
One of my favorite things about touring is that I know my job. I know what I need to do. And like my job for the day is the show. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's such a freeing, it's such hard work, like leading up to that. But once you're sort of, away with a tour, and it's second nature, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And when you're also with people that you adore, and it's just great.
Yeah, of course. It's Dom and I talk about it all the time. It's almost, I dare not say it's like a mini vacation from life.
Yeah.
But it is, because like you say, it's like I've got one thing I need to worry about today, and that's getting to the stage. Obviously you have other things that, throughout your day, waking up, getting your coffee. But, my job today is getting to the stage and playing the best I possibly can.
Yeah.
For 2 hours or however long the show is. And you do that consistently, and it is exhausting, because after a year of doing that, you are exhausted.
It's shocking how exhausting it is.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still learning to sort of give myself a mental break in it being okay to be exhausted because you think, I'm not doing anything though. I'm playing music and I'm just traveling about, and like, slap on the face, get over it. But it really, like, I get like really, really exhausted for weeks afterwards. It takes me to recover from a tour. And I think sort of accepting that is thing as well.
Yeah.
You
got to give yourself time.
You're in this heightened state for so long. And it's like, it's mostly the adrenaline and cortisol of like performing and connecting and being on stage, and then making sure you're playing all the songs right and everything. And like that, just on top of worse living conditions, even when they're not bad living conditions, if it's like a really kind of cushy tour, it's still just like your body probably waits until you're somewhere safe afterwards, or you're not doing it, and you just like, you're done for weeks on end. But is there anything on the road that you have now found like, okay, if I do these certain things, it like really helps me kind of just be my best self on the road?
Yeah. The tours I've been on in the past couple of years, healthy tours. I don't drink anymore. That really helps with touring. As you can imagine, like, so I'm sort of, off stage and with a cup of tea and in my pajamas by like 11:30. I really like lean into the grandma lifestyle more these days, and I really enjoy it. So that working out on the road as well, but like with everyone is all going for walks and stuff, just like prioritizing health and having that be a good bonding thing for everyone. I feel like some tours, and they've been so fun and wonderful, but there's a sort of an old school attitude of like rock and roll and partying and stuff. It's just not sustainable.
No,
definitely not.
Like,
definitely not.
As much as it's not like real life to be on the road that much, it also is still life, and you have to remember that, or you just won't survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, all the artists that we talk to on here and, we see at NAMM and on tour, that seems to be, it's like a growing trend of, I don't drink anymore. Or, if I do drink, I might have a glass of wine after the show, sort of, but health, diet, exercise, get in your bunk, before the bus even leaves the venue. I'm in my bunk on my iPad saying hello to my fan, whatever, it's not, it's not the, the wild parties that everybody thinks, it's not all Motley Crue backstage,
No.
and
That's
it's not
good.
sustainable.
Yeah, I can't tell if I'm sort of feel that way or people around me are talking that way because I'm in it getting older, or if it is really a sort of trend, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a trend for sure. I mean, I don't know how anyone does anything vocally to touring and drinking at the same time. I mean, it's just it's pretty impossible. I think if you care about the performance, it's like an easy, like, okay, that's not gonna work.
Totally.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about gear real quick because I know we're running out of time here, and Hayley, this happens every time. It's like Dom and I, anybody that we have.
Show.
What's that?
It's like touring. It's like all the hours in your day that you're not playing, and then the second you get on, it's like just goes.
Everybody that comes on the show, they're like, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to be able to fill an hour? And it's like, I mean, we're at 50 minutes, and anyways, primarily P bass and Mustang basses.
P bass, Mustang. I have a jazz bass as well. I've been trying to integrate the Mustang back in.
Mm-hmm.
The P bass always wins out.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's a sound.
Yep.
So I literally A/B them when I'm rehearsing for a gig, and I'm like, no, there must be a place for this Mustang.
I'm sure. But
and I'm sure there is, but I do. Yeah. If I had to take one.
Is it the pink P bass with the white pickups?
Yes, it is that one.
Amazing. I would take that everywhere too.
Yeah. As a friend of mine said, a Nashville buddy of mine said, you know what, man, is all your MTDs and all your fancy basses are really nice and they sound great, but nobody's ever not been hired because they showed up with a P bass. They've not been hired because they were too Greek. And Raichu, to answer Raichu's question, I have no idea what that means, but nobody's ever not been hired because they showed up with a P bass, or on the other side of it, not showed up with an Ampeg.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a fact. And I know, for a lot of I would assume for all your touring stuff, it's usually backline that's either supplied or you're taking with you. But
yeah, well, I think BØRNS was actually the last tour where we would literally lug the 8x10 around.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, our lovely tech would cheer on from the side. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, it's usually backlined now.
Now, for Ampeg around town, are you using? First of all, I think we had a discussion about Venture at NAMM.
We did.
Did I ever fulfill that, or have we talked more?
We nearly fulfilled it for the show I was doing at the Troubadour recently, but then I have the Rocket 210.
That's right.
I hadn't actually gigged with yet, and I was like, "Hang on, this is gonna,
okay,
gonna do the job."
Right.
It did. It was everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just so you know, that Rocket 210, if you do need more oomph with the Rocket 210, it has the extension speaker out, so you can still go into like a Venture cab or a Porterflex cab and do it that way. But yeah, I know we had discussed it at NAMM, and of course, I have NAMM brain on Sunday. Like I forget anything. Just it's like get me out of this place. So I apologize if I didn't follow up with you on that.
No, we did. And I just decided to use the little combo.
The combo. Cool.
But I always use my DI pedal. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times now, it will just be that.
Yeah.
And it's like a silent stage. And just got that pedal. So
you did a great. I'm going to put the link in here too. You did a wonderful video for us a while back.
a long time ago.
Yeah, and it was on the chorus pedal and the scrambler and the SCRDI. I won't play it, but I'm going to put the link in here for folks to go look at it.
I'm definitely going to.
You can all leave.
And the best part about this video was your puppy was just curled up.
Little dog. It's my brother's dog, actually, but Evie.
Evie?
Yeah.
Just curled up beside you in the dog bed. Maybe asleep, maybe not asleep, but just
chilling.
Almost like meditating to what you were playing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it was,
yeah.
My pedal board is still just Ampeg pedals.
As it should be.
Yeah. One, an Earthquaker device, I think that's what they're called.
Yep.
Fuzz pedal.
Yeah.
That's the only outside pedal I've ever
had. No, that's that's totally fine. I mean, everybody, Dom and I, pedal boards are growing and growing, and I've grown my pedal board to the point where it's like now I need a fly rig because my regular pedal board is too big to fly with, and it's just like
it's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah, but again, it's it's a matter of convenience. It's a matter of backlining stuff, and obviously more and more in-ears. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, I've got some, and I know I didn't put this in the pre-interview for you to look at, but I think it's 13 questions now. It's grown to 13 questions. So this surprise.
Rapid fire. Oh no.
He starts by telling us decision fatigue, and we're like, all right, we're gonna do rapid fire questions.
And I purposely don't put this in the pre-interview because I want everybody's immediate response. It's all fun.
No wrong answers. We'll start with that.
Answers. My life is gonna change for the.
It doesn't say anything about your identity as a player or anything. It's fine.
Nope. But usually after we chat, when we go through these questions, we kind of, after what we've talked about for the last hour, we kind of already know what the answers are. Okay. Every now and then somebody throws us a curveball though.
Yeah.
So I'll start with question 1. P bass or jazz bass?
P bass.
Of course. See, yes. It's easy.
Yeah, you should answer, and then I'll tell you if you're right.
Passive or active?
Passive.
Okay. See? Round wounds or flats?
Oh. I want flats, but I play rounds.
Okay. All right, that's fair. You can ride both sides of the fence there.
For pop gigs, it's just the rounds.
You got to do rounds, yeah.
Yeah. To that. It's just yeah.
B15 or SVT?
SVT, but there's no. That's just yeah.
Cool.
See?
My answers, I'm just going to say them.
B15 just got hit by a bus. It doesn't exist.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Cable or wireless?
Cable.
Okay. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I've had some issues with wireless. So.
Yeah, we all, obviously with bigger stages, sometimes it's a necessity, but
yeah, it is fun. I want the freedom of the wireless, but the safety
of a cable.
Yep. That it's safe if you trip it anyway.
Pick or fingers?
Again, fingers for me, but so much more pick playing is required for pop gigs, and I do love it as well.
Cool.
Cool.
IEMs or floor wedges?
Wow. In-ears for me.
In-ears? Okay. Like I said, there's no wrong choice. There's pedals or no. What's that?
Feels like that was the wrong choice.
No. Well, and again, a lot of folks step back and go, well, it depends.
It does depend.
Yeah, I think everybody wants
more used to ears these days. I just did a gig with wedges, and it's just you just got to get used to it again.
Yeah. Yep. Pedals or no pedals?
Pedals.
Okay. Now we switch gears here. We're not talking about gear. We're talking about travel. Window or aisle?
Aisle.
Okay.
Drink too much coffee. I need to get up. Yeah.
I'm the same.
I need to be free.
High bunk or low bunk? Or some tour buses have middle bunks.
Middle
bunk.
Middle or high.
Okay. Don't want to be looking at ankles all night.
No, and I don't want to be near the wheel and feeling all the.
Very good.
Middle is an even keel on the road.
See, and this is the stuff that we don't know about. You know what I mean? Like, you always sleep feet first to the front of the bus. You never sleep head first.
All right, here's a question. Sorry to
Yeah, go ahead.
Spice Girls tour. You're the bassist, but low bunk and window seat. Do you take it? Do you take the tour? And a jazz bass.
Yeah,
jazz bass.
Yeah. Well, because their tour bus, as we know from Spice World, is so
That's
that
true.
it's not gonna matter that I'm on the
That's
bottom.
true. You get your own room on there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's magical. So
I think I would ride in the trailer.
Can you imagine? No to that.
Hugging the 810.
I've got my own flight case. You can just load me in the back.
Yeah.
Like black and white piping or blue and silver. Talking about Ampeg, the look of Ampeg Cosmetics.
Ooh. Black and white?
That's all right. Yeah. And I think I know the answer to this one. And I'll add this in. Hot chocolate, coffee, or tea? Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do love a hot chocolate.
It's got to be made properly, though.
How would you, like actual?
With milk and actual cocoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of this instant stuff.
No. It feels very like beautifully childish to have a hot chocolate.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Like having
I'm instantly 6 years old again when I have a hot chocolate, especially when it's cold out and you just come in from playing in the snow or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. I tried to feel that way with whiskey. It didn't work out so well. Okay, last question. Favorite place to eat when you're traveling? Do you have like a special restaurant that when you know, I'm going to be in Portugal, I got to eat here?
Wow, I do not. My immediate thought goes to like the UK and going to a pub and having pub food.
Okay.
I miss that, but that I feel like that's too broad.
No. Yeah.
The question. No, great question.
And I mean, we're all creatures of habit to some degree. And it's like when I know I'm going to like Austin, Texas, I know the barbecue place I'm eating at.
Yes.
You know, so I guess it's not that it's hard to come up with a favorite place versus
I have places that I would go back to. I don't know.
Yeah. I think one of our guests had said any fast food joint is fine with me. And we're like,
fair enough. I make a lot of meals on the bus now. You do enjoy that, like collecting rider food over time, and then having a little.
You're not storing cold cuts in your bunk now, are you? I've got some cheese and salami stored under the pillow for later.
Oh my gosh, we had one tour.
Past me to have like hidden some keys somewhere that only I know about. But yeah.
Okay. Oh man. Well, you never know.
Answer.
You know, it's like I was on the road with a gentleman and his drummer. I won't we will remain nameless, but no matter I and this was like one of my first tours, and we'd go into the green room and he would like instantly start stuffing sandwiches in his pockets and put sandwiches in his hardware bags, and like I was like, dude, like, where are you? Oh, I'm saving them for later, man. I'm like, they were packaged. It wasn't like just open sandwiches, like they were wrapped. But I was just like, and at the end of the tour, I was just kind of like, he probably ate his way through the 10 dates that we did, because it was, I was like, could you save some for us? Like the joke was, we got to get to the green room before this guy does, so that we can at least get a sandwich, because he's going to steal them all.
I had a realization only this week. I always get really hungry at about 10:30, 11 at night, like full on want a whole another meal.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine goes, that's probably because of after show food.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Full meal at 11 p.m. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It was always weird to me that like the catering situation is always closed before you go on stage, and then I don't ever want to eat that much before, but I want to eat everything after. Like, yeah. So, right, you got to stash sandwiches. It's just the only way to do it.
Yeah, you have to take your little to-go box to catering.
I used to work with a trombone player on casuals, on GB gigs, that, wedding gigs.
Mm-hmm.
He would bring his own Tupperware to the gig, and throw Tupperware. If it was a buffet at the wedding, he'd go to the carving station, have him throw a couple extra slices in his Tupperware.
Genius.
Smart dude.
Hey man, because 3 o'clock in the morning drive home, or midnight drive home, you want to have something.
Absolutely. This is the important stuff.
Absolutely. These are the tricks of the trade. We don't need to know about what kind of strings you play. We want to know how you sustain yourself.
Yes. He's stealing sandwiches from a green room to survive.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man. Well, Hayley, we got to wrap this up. I know we're a few minutes over, but I cannot thank you enough for doing this. We'd love to have you back too at some point.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I could talk to you guys all day. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad we finally got this chance to do this. Like I said, I know we've been talking about doing it, and finally our schedules came together, and it was so lovely to have you on here. Actually, let me put your website up here as well, so that everybody can see. So it's HayleyJaneMusic.com. Go visit. There's tons of videos on there too, which are really cool. So,
nice.
I apologize. We didn't even get to talk. We talked a little bit about your gigs and other artists that you've worked with, but
we did.
I mean, we'll have you back on and we'll talk about that, because we know you're going to be doing more gigs and with more high profile, and who knows, maybe you'll get the Spice Girls gig.
Yeah, maybe.
Put it out there.
Or maybe I'll get another gig again. We never know.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
But thank you. Obviously, thanks everybody for joining in. Paul, I saw you. Keys, Raichu, all of, like, we have a fan base that checks in every 2 weeks for SVT time. So
and
thank you guys.
My mom's here too.
Oh, is your mom here? Who? Really?
No, I haven't seen in the chat, but I have a feeling.
Okay.
In London.
Can you pop up Ethan's comment too? I just felt like that was a nice comment that we.
I can't see any comments.
Ethan's
amazing player, Hayley. Big fan. Wish I could stay. Take care, everyone.
Oh, yes. Let me just put that up here real quick while we're saying our goodbyes, if I can find it. Boy, oh boy, I'm lacking here. I should have put that up right from the get-go.
Good.
Anyways, But thank you. Anyways, everybody, we'll see you in 2 weeks, I believe. Yeah, in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks, I think. On the 29th is the next scheduled SVT time. Dom and I are going to have some new things to show you and some new swag and new gear. Not new gear. I shouldn't say new gear. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but it'll be some cool stuff. And hopefully I don't have an artist schedule for that just yet, but if you can think of anybody you want to see in particular, please put it in the comments and I will bug that person until they come on, just like I did with Hayley. No, seriously. And if there's anything you need in the meantime, please reach out. Let us know. And thanks everybody for joining in. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank y'all.
Bye.